Hey guys, how are you? Um, Yesterday, a friend of mine asked me something which made me reflecting about something. Since I'm explaining um, the book of Michel Onfray about um, La Sculpture de Soi, and I would like to explain you something because the question was really interesting. The question is, do we have what happened after death? Because if we don't believe in something, if we don't believe in religion, for instance, what happened to us when we die? And that was a friend of mine asked me that. That was not the first time that I received that question, which eventually I have um, developed an answer throughout my life and my understanding of things. Well, most of all, like what I'm doing now, will be the last answer of this question in logic. But before arriving uh, to that answer, you should go through a logic. So, for instance, we have two pillars in our society. Which one is religion? One is science. We have different kind of religions and we have different kind of science, but they say both almost the same about life and death. They say that, well, when we die, eventually for religion we go to paradise or hell, and for science we say that there is an after life and there is different dimension and so on and so on. There are energies, and they even speculate about the idea of infinity, which is the idea of eternity eventually, and they even use the math. Right? When you do a mathematical equation, you use the sign of infinity. If you look at the sky, you have the idea of infinity. So humans are used to understanding about infinity to master this idea. So now, if you believe in religion, instead, you believe that you will believe that when you die, you eventually fly in another dimension, paradise, where there are God and angel, and so on and so on and so on. So, well, we are not discussing about what you believe and why, and if that is good or not. But I'm trying to understand. So, when you die, when you live, sorry, you have mostly an understanding of yourself throughout coexistence. I mean, I'm talking throughout this camera, and by talking throughout this camera, I know that I exist because I'm communicating with you. When I talk with somebody else, when I think, and when I share my person, my existence, even when I'm alone, I still in a state of coexistence. I live in a world in which there are other life, and I'm exactly moment of coexistence because I'm communicating. I'm using this camera to eventually communicate with you, and that's making me alive. When you talk with your mother, with your father, with your sister, or your girlfriend, or whatever you have around you, that is a moment in which you are in a state of coexistence. And even when you're alone, you still are in a state of coexistence when you are on this dimension because you're still reasoning about your life. Arrive a state of existence, you arrive when you die. So, what is the state of existence? The state of existence is when there's not a state of coexistence. And the only state of existence that exists is the one after life. The state when you die, when we die, eventually, I hope that will be far away in the future, but when you or I am not any longer in this dimension, we have, of course, no understanding of what happened after life. The only thing that we can understand is the approaching limit of that concept. Now, in math, they use limit to describe the approaching value of a function. So we know that the function is approaching to that value. Now, throughout this explanation, I try to approach to that meaning, but we are not going to grasp that meaning of existence. Now, existence is a state in which you are pure energy, or you even come back to coexistence. So when you die, when there's death, eventually life doesn't end. Uh, you are in a state of existence, but you have not understanding, and the existence cannot communicate with coexistence because they're completely opposite. The state of existence is eventually a state in which there is no duality. There is just a singular entity. and you are part of that singular entity. That's why there is complete dichotomy between the state of coexistence, which we are, and the state of existence. For instance, you cannot have people that die talk with you, because they eventually have no correlation with the state of coexistence. The state of existence is a state in which you are part of a unity. For instance, think about energy. Now, to understand that energy, think about the closest idea you have about energy. Electrical energy, photons. These are the closest idea of that we have as a human of this energy that created us at the beginning. Like in the Big Bang was an energy created us, and we come back to this energy when we die, eventually. So now, my explanation was trying to tell you that the fact that the two states are a state of existence, but are completely opposite one to each other, and one excludes the other. State of existence excludes the state of coexistence excludes the state of existence. It's completely opposite. Think about to be not any longer with all the people that surround you, but instead just to be. You have no knowledge of duality and what is outside you, but you are just what you are. That state is impossible even to grasp, but we can approach that. So now what I'm doing, I'm just living to you a seed that should creep inside you to make you reflecting about that and make you approaching that limit of understanding of existence. But you will never grasp, you will never have the complete master of that idea. But the only thing that can save us is the fact that my only things that make us understand the existence is the fact that in some way we have some ideas of infinity. This idea is inside the human understanding. And if we have this idea of infinity, the idea of infinity is completely opposite to the idea of death or end. So if we have that, if that idea is living inside us, we are matter, a tiny matter of that idea. If that idea is there, meaning that we eventually are correlated in some way to that idea. And that should be the logic. Now, science, different from religion. The religion asks you to believe. And that's not a criticism, just ask you to believe in a story. Use, like, for instance, pathos, suffering, to make you understanding how, like, make you sympathizing with that story, make you more believing, react to that story. Science says they use logic, even logic is as an end as well. So it asks you to believe in logic. It's always a belief. I mean, science and religion are belief. The point is that the religion asks you to believe a history. Science asks you to believe to logic. So that means that there are endless possibility of existence. If you believe in God, well, there will be a God. If you don't, there won't be a God. Like a little bit what Schroeder said, the cat is alive, the cat is dead at the same time. If it depends from our way of thinking. The only thing that really exists in humankind that make religion and science agree with is application. Apply yourself to a logic, make that logic becoming true. Apply to yourself to make a calculus equation or to create a function will give you the fundament of a function, of a curve. Like you would like to know how to throw a ball in the basket. The basketball player knows exactly how to do that without knowing the math. But if you ask a basketball player to go to the moon and say, well, you can make thousands of tries, but you will die throughout these tries because we don't know exactly how we have to make that direction. Well, you say no. So that comes in hand in math. You will calculate exactly how to do that without using, like, to do empirically tries and make people die during that trial. So to make less trying and make less dangerous. That's the only point. Now, logic, the fact that you believe in logic, makes you apply yourself to something. Like, for instance, if you believe in art, like in piano, you will apply yourself to play music. That application will save you in what are you doing, will give you the approaching limit to existence. Now, calculus or function or believing in science will make you approaching and using your brain in order to find a resolution for something throughout a system of logic, throughout a process. Like now I'm processing my piano to have the mastering of the piano, and that's give me a result. Now, this is the only way that exists. Science incorporate that throughout empiricism, use application throughout empiricism to have results. And then we have electrical energy, then gives us the possibility to have images on our computer to make calculation, while religion said, use your belief to make you believe in history and ask you to believe and say that your belief will save you. But at the very end, we have to believe. So my answer to this question about that is application. The only thing that make us remaining in existence is application of ourselves in something. Application is the only one then link science and religion. And science and religion answer the quest of humankind. Humankind have this metaphysical necessity to answer to some questions like death, expansion, limit, space, good and bad. All of these questions are metaphysical because go beyond our state of being human. We cannot understand goodness in its totality. We cannot understand infinity now in our state of being finished. So the only thing that give a resolution to this is application. We have seen that throughout application, we have created the medicine throughout application. The first doctors, they were actually studying the human body and they were discovering things about the human body. At the beginning, the medicine was no more than at the very beginning, I thought 1,000 years ago, it was doctor used, for instance, something to cure something else that was not correct. Everything starts from a point, and throughout application, develop in something else. So the science, and so even religion say that you have to apply it yourself, like to a morality, certain morality, to arrive to something. Now the difference is that the ethic of the science is throughout mere application. Like say, you apply yourself, and you will find resolution. You will find existence. Religion says that you should apply to a pathetic, ethic, meaning that there is some the form of this this should be like, pathetic is like the suffering, the humbleness, and whatever makes you going throughout that direction. This is not a criticism, it's just facts. One used pathos and one used logic throughout application. Both ask for application, but in different way. So now I'm not judging you or me. I'm just saying what it is. That is the reality of the fact. Now, you know that, for instance, throughout application, you will discover existence. And the state of existence is a state in which there is no duality. And it's a state that you will master only when you will not be in a state of coexistence. So don't be too curious about existence. Try to be still curious about coexistence. And when there will be existence, meaning will be an end of this dimension, there will be existence, well, you will know what that means, existence. But until that moment, we have to live with that doubt. The only thing that we have as math helps us sometimes is that you have limit approaching that idea, but we'll never arrive to that idea. When we arrive to that idea, well, you know what happened. So now I live with this. I hope that was clear, and let that creep inside you like a drop on the lake. What does it do? Drop on the lake, create little waves, and let that maturate in you. And little by little, year by year, time by time, you will master that idea. The doubts make you mastering sometimes things. I hope that was clear. Bye bye.